Coffee and convo, y'all. Let's get it. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building, man. You guys know what time it is. We are back. Welcome to the latest installment of Coffee and Convo. I am your host, Graphk Raider, man. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history. As always, make sure you guys wipe them feet. That means get those likes up and also hit that subscribe button. If you guys are not subscribed yet, we almost have 300 people already in the room. Salute the Green Dot Gang, heavy in the building. Flores, Sir Dre, Dangerfield, Chef Curry, Jorge, Ski Mask, Raider Manny, Duke. Salute to all my people, man. I see Dre. Let's effing go. We have a lot to talk about today, specifically our new head coach, Clint Kubiak. Last night, it went super viral, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all over the world. Our guy has officially committed to become the next head coach of our Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to talk about that shortly. We're going to talk about the game. I see a lot of people calling the play calling bad, last night. And I have to, like super disagree with you guys here. Like I'm seeing some people like, I don't know. Look, man, and much respect to Sam Darnold. You know what? We'll start here. I don't know if you guys watched every snap of this game yesterday. I know I did. And early on, New England's defense was being very, very aggressive, you guys. Like they were jumping routes. They were trying to defensively keep themselves in that game because offensively, you see what happened. Punt. I mean, it was ugly for that New England offense. I mean, that Seattle defense was smothering. They got home a million times, it seemed, yesterday. That O-line had no answer for that defensive line from the Seattle Seahawks. But if you look early on in the game, and yes, Dom, he missed a ton of throws, ton of them. And there was one play as well where I believe he chose to dump it off to Kenneth Walker. I believe, don't quote me on this, but there was a wide open Shaheed. It would have been a walk-in touchdown. So Darnold was rattled. And let's not act like this New England defense is suckers, you guys. I mean, they had the 6th best run defense coming into that game yesterday. And Seattle ran the football stupidly all over New England yesterday. But the thing that I saw was Darnold was rattled. He was rattled. He was off with his throws. And I feel like Kubiak is smart enough to understand that Sam Darnold was about to dial one up for that defense. I don't know if you've seen those first few drives, you guys, but there was a few plays there where it was like, oh, shit. Darnold's going to throw one. It's only a matter of time before Gonzo, who had a great game yesterday. Oh, my God, I think he single-handedly kept that New England team in that game yesterday. Salute to Gonzo, Christian Gonzalez, Dallas, Texas's own. Big fan of him. Coming out of Oregon, and we took Tyree Wilson. We don't need to talk about that. But Gonzo had a great game. But from what I seen yesterday it was very smart of Kubiak to kind of take the reins back, so to speak, and they ran the football. I mean, Kenneth Walker was the MVP yesterday, you guys. I mean, what else do you want at this point? All I kept thinking was Ashton Jeanty. He's 10 times better than Kenneth Walker. And I'm a huge fan of Kenneth Walker, especially, coming out of Michigan State. He was a stud coming out of the draft. But again, durability has been a problem with him at the NFL level. But, man, I love that Kubiak committed to the run. I love it. Like, that's what you do when you feel like, okay, Darnold's a little off, and it looks as though he may he may really throw one here soon to the opposing team. Let's slow it down a little bit. Let's get the run game going. And that's what absolutely killed New England. And that was all the talk this week, you guys, was, how are you going to run the ball against this New England defense? Well, they did. Yesterday, they had 141 yards on the ground, you guys. Kenneth Walker's 27 carries, 135 yards alone. Average 5 a clip. Kenneth Walker was all over the place yesterday. And you got to ride the hot hand. And I think that Kubiak did that. He dialed up some phenomenal plays. And again, when you look at the tape, you guys, there was a ton of receivers constantly open. But again, it just looked like Sam Darnold was kind of off balance yesterday. You're playing against one of the better defenses in football in New England. You're in your first Super Bowl, right? I know he's hearing all the smoke of Sam Darnold was a bust. And is he able to get, someone, there's a lot that comes with, being Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. And I thought that Kubiak protected Sam Darnold from Sam Darnold yesterday. Didn't Sam Darnold lead the league in turnovers, you guys, this year? Didn't he have like 20 of them, I believe? So again, when you commit to the run, what does that also do? It beats down the opposing defense, right? It beats that defense down, but it also keeps your defense fresh. And Seattle's defense was all over the place yesterday. They show why they're the number one defense in football. I know statistically the Texans have the number one defense. That Seattle defense, Mike McDaniels, man, you have done a great job putting that team together with, of course, your general manager. He's the one, doing all the drafting here. But again, that defense was phenomenal. But I thought that Kubiak caught a masterclass yesterday. I thought that he was very smart. He's seen what was going on with Darnold. I think that he's seen, again, that he may turn the ball over here, once or twice. What was a constant theme in the playoffs, you guys? It was that Sam Darnold did not turn the football over. And again, that's one of the big reasons Seattle was where they were and why they won the Super Bowl yesterday. Because, again, you got Sam Darnold into the playoffs. You commit to the run. Kenneth Walker has been a monster in the playoff run and yesterday. And, again, that's Kubiak. That is Kubiak. I love it. Salute the Raider man. Let's go. Appreciate you on the first super of the day, my brother. Salute to Alex as well. Kubiak called an amazing game. Execution just wasn't really there. Darnold missing Cup on the out route many times for a first. Shaheed missed the deep ball, which he had to lay out for it. Alex was pretty tough. There was another play where he missed JSN. Darnold was under pressure. And to be honest, that play wouldn't even have been possible if Darnold wouldn't have found a way to escape and throw that ball to JSN. But there was one play where he could have had a walk-in touchdown as well, but Darnold was off. And again, he was rattled. He was under pressure and found a way to escape. But again, yes, Kubiak called an amazing game. I loved, just some of those designs that Kubiak, this is going to be fun. Every time I seen, Shaheed, I thought of Trey Tucker. Every time I seen Kenneth Walker, I thought of Ashton Genty. When I seen that beautiful touchdown to AJ Barner, I just thought Brock Bowers. And if you go back and look at that play, the way they designed him to get open, it was phenomenal. That was a Clint Kubiak special there. And I believe they ran that play several times in the playoffs. And it was just phenomenal. If you go back and look at the tape and watch how they just literally systematically designed him to get open, it was a masterclass. Phenomenal play. Alex Barner, I think it was a 16-yard, AJ Barner, 16-yard touchdown. And he had a big game, 4 catches, 54 yards yesterday. He almost averaged 14 a clip. I just thought of Brock Bowers constantly. Like, oh my God, man, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. But I thought that yesterday was a phenomenal game from Seattle. Salute to them in the 12s. Salute to our new head coach, Clint Kubiak. And we're going to get to what he said here in a second shortly. Salute to my guy, Alex. Salute to Mendoza. My dog, man. Brilliant offensive game plan. Don't force a play. Let the defense and your run game carry you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Facts. Facts, man. Facts. And that's what I'm saying, bro. When you get into the playoffs, you have to have a nasty defense. You have to have a nasty run game. Unless you have a Patrick Mahomes, on your football team that can do it all. Most teams don't. If you have a quarterback like a Drake May or Sam Darnold, you have to have a strong defense to keep you in games, and you have to have a run game, to control the clock and to also, beat opposing defenses up. And Seattle did that. I think that, man, this Seattle team is one of the more underrated football teams that we've seen in years. Win the Super Bowl. And again, they have $70 million at their disposal in salary cap space. You guys, like they can keep this train rolling. The big thing is, can they replace Clint Kubiak and some of those other assistant coaches that are going to follow him to Las Vegas? Can they keep Kenneth Walker around? Can they pace Josh Jobe? And Woolen and some of these other guys? We shall see, but they have a ton of cap space. Like their Super Bowl window is wide open here. If they can find a way to replace Kubiak, Seattle is going to be a force to be reckoned with for many, many years. They're a very young football team. They have a perfect blend of, age, veteran leadership, youth, and they've been drafting really, really well. That is the big piece to this Seattle puzzle, is that general manager has been able to identify talent in the draft, something the Raiders have not been able to do for many years. Yeah, we'll find one or two guys here and there, but in the last decade or so, even longer than that, we have not been able to successfully continue to draft well year in and year out. Seattle has shown that they have been able to do it, and then go into free agency and bring in the likes of a D-Law, who we all thought was crazy, saying I went to Seattle to win a championship because it would never happen in Dallas. I thought he was crazy. I'm like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Shut me the hell up. Shut me the hell up, for sure. But salute to my guy Mendoza, man. Appreciate you, brother. Salute to Brew, my dog, in the building, man. Kubiak did a better job than assistant coach of the year in Josh McDaniels. Kubiak actually adjusted to protect his quarterback. Drake Maye is going to have nightmares of Witherspoon and that Seattle defense. Yeah, man. Witherspoon was all over the place. They were dialing up corner blitzes. They were just all over Drake Maye yesterday, you guys. I mean, yeah, you look at his stats, right, and you think, okay, it wasn't, he had 2 picks, he had 2 touchdowns. When you just look at the box score, you think, oh, he had a decent game. Well, a lot of that came in garbage time when they were already down big. I mean, this dude was sacked 6 times yesterday for a loss of 43 yards, you guys. Compared to Sam Darnold, who was only sacked once. That O-line definitely showed up for Seattle. Again, the run game in New England just it didn't help Drake Maye at all. That left side, those young guys, the starting left guard out of Georgia, the LSU kid with the T-Rex arms, that was always Will Campbell's knock coming out of that draft, right? They failed him. Drake, you can see he was clearly rattled. And there was plays, Rube, too, where I don't know if you've seen it, but like he was looking to the left side, just knowing he's looking for something. That kept him off balance. There was reasons where Drake Maye was throwing the football too early or he was throwing it too late. It was clear that the chemistry was off between him and his receivers because Drake Maye was rattled. That Seattle defense was all over the place. They lived in that backfield. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't pass the ball. It was ugly. It was ugly. But again, you can see Maye like keeping an eye, on his blind side because Will Campbell struggled. That left side struggled. And, Seattle got home a million times yesterday and made Drake Maye's life a living hell. So the Flores outside runs, something we've not had in years, man. Let's effing go. Flores, my brother, man. I'm excited to see Genty do the same thing, man. There was and big respect to Kenneth Walker yesterday. There were several plays, Flores, where it looked like he was going to lose 2, 3, 4 yards. And he just found a way, followed his blockers. There was one specific play, bro. Oh, my God, where he just sat back. It felt like he just sat there very Le'Veon Bellish. Just sat there, observed, waited for that gap to open up, pause if necessary, and took off. Patience. It's kind of crazy how much time Kenneth Walker had back there to kind of analyze, go through things, and he allowed his O-line to open up that hole, and boom, Kenneth Walker took advantage of it. I know you guys remember that play. It was nasty. It was nasty. That man sat back there, listened to the whole new J. Cole album, and then said, you know what, let me go ahead and get out of here. Crazy. So to Spivey, this old Raider fan is feeling more positive than I have in years. Kubiak got people open. Let's effing go. Raiders. Salute to my guy Spivey in the building. I appreciate you, my brother. Salute to you. Martin, I agree. Their punter had a phenomenal game. Pinned him at like the 2-yard line, 3-yard line consistently all game long. Their punter was phenomenal, one of the best in the game. And also, their field goal kicker. I mean, he had a massive game. At one point, he scored damn near all the points. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and what was he? I think he broke the record yesterday, right? The record was previously 4 in the Super Bowl. He had 5. He was perfect yesterday. Had 17 points alone, Jason Myers. And then again, Michael Dixon went out there and just kept pinning New England deep in their own territory, which was really, really tough for Drake May and company to figure out. So facts, man. They're special teams. I mean, honestly, man, Seattle's team collectively, just every aspect of the game, from defense, offense, special teams, they just showed up. And the better team won yesterday. There was levels, you guys, to what happened yesterday. There was levels. Seattle was clearly the better football team. New England, to me, is probably one of the worst football teams that I've seen ever represent, a conference in the Super Bowl. New England did not belong there. They didn't. That O-line got punished. They had 0 points at the half. It was just disgusting. New England had no answer for that Seattle defense. Now, New England's defense showed up a ton, but that offense just could not do anything. Diggs was like nowhere to be found for most of the game. Former Raider great Mac Hollins had a couple big plays. I think he was the first one to get them on the board, but again, it was a tough experience for that New England offense yesterday, facing one of the better defenses in football, if not 1A, 1B in the NFL. But New England's offense, man, that was tough. I mean, at one point, punt. It was just nasty work. Disgusting. So Drew, my dog, man, on the $50 bang. Early on, New England blitzed over 60% of the time, and DB rules tell you to get ready to jump routes because it's coming quick. Kubiak decided to run the ball to bring it to the defense. I laugh when McCourty said JMD needs to get the screen game going. Yeah, man. This is the same guy, Rube and Josh McDaniels, and I love that my brother Sanjit brought this up on Twitter yesterday. I found it hilarious that this is the same guy in Josh McDaniels, right? That at one point when he was with the Raiders, he said, don't worry about the O-line. When you got the quick game and you got this and you got that going on, I'm going to bring up the exact quote here because Sanjit put it out there. I remember Josh McDaniels once said that the Raiders O-line didn't matter because they can use the quick game and the run game with the play action to neutralize the pass rush. Welp, your quarterback got sacked 6 times. You guys cannot get the ground game going at all yesterday. The quick game didn't work. The play action didn't work. I mean, it was just disgusting work for Josh McDaniels and that offense out there. But hilarious, man. Hilarious. I love that Sanjay brought that old quote up. Salute to my dog, Rube, man. I appreciate you on the $50 special, my brother. Salute to you. Salute to Mr. J. Will, Jason Myers, and Shaheed. San Diego represent. Yes, man. Shaheed is from San Diego, and I'm hoping that he's a future Raider, man. Definitely. He's a fun talent to watch. Him and Sam Darnold couldn't quite find that chemistry yesterday. But I want to see what he can do in Vegas with a guy like, Fernando Mendoza, who's just IQ is just off the charts. I mean, I put this on Twitter yesterday, you guys. Like, I honestly believe that, yes, I mean, this dude won a championship with Sam Darnold at the quarterback position, and that's no knock to Sam Darnold at all. He had a really good year this year, but he did lead the league, I believe, in turnovers, right? He had a ton of them this year. I think they said something to the fact of like 20 turnovers this past year, but man, I can just only imagine what he is going to look like in this offense. Very, very accurate. His decision-making is phenomenal. I'm excited to see what Mendoza can do just with this football IQ alone in this scheme. I think that Kubiak, that's the reason why he said what he said yesterday. It was just like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to Vegas. He's excited. Like, look, regardless of what's going on with this Max situation, you guys, and whatever else drama that comes with this organization, there's a few things that we could be excited about, okay? It's watching what Kenneth Walker did this season in Seattle, over 1,000 yards rushing, and what he did in the playoffs in this scheme. It's exciting to watch what, Kubiak did and what he dialed up with those tight ends out there, i.e. Brock Bowers. It's exciting to see that Fernando Mendoza is going to be a Raider and that Kubiak is excited to come in and bring in and develop him at the next level. I'm hyped. And Rube, definitely, Kobe Bryant earned himself a fat Vegas contract. I've been a fan of Kobe since Cincinnati. And again, I did not like that one play, though, Rube, where he decided to hit the pass catcher. I forgot who it was. He absolutely blasted him, but he could have picked that ball off. He could have picked that ball off. He chose to kind of set the tone a little bit and smack the shit out of him, and the ball just bounced right off of his helmet. I thought that Kobe could have came down with that one. I thought he chose violence over, which was the right move. Just put your hands up, get the pick, and give your offense another chance to go out there and score. Either way, it worked out for Seattle, regardless. But I thought that play was kind of like, I'm like, Kobe, man, you went for a hit when the ball just completely smacked you right in your mask, man. Nasty work. Nasty work. So to my guy Michael as well, man. The safety for the Seahawks was all over the place yesterday. Facts. I mean, that Julian Love was all over the place. He came down with a pick, even though I think Julian to tell you, former Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I got to throw that out there as well. But he had a big game. He was all over the place. Julian Love was all over the place. Kobe Bryant was all over the place. I mean, Wool was all over the place. He did give up that touchdown, I believe, to Mac Hollins. But he had a good game. I mean, who was it? Witherspoon was all over the place. That defense was just phenomenal. Okay, it was Hunter Henry. Well, yep, that's exactly who it was. He chose to smack the living daylight saving times out of his ass instead of coming up with the pick. You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is, right? Went out there, set the tone early. Seattle did whatever they had, what they had to do to win that game. So Rube says, I'll take that over giving up a touchdown. I hear you, Rube. I definitely agree with you. 2-4. I'm going to check my emails today, brother, and I will send you it. I'm still waiting. My son has to kind of show me how to do it. He's going to go over it because I had no idea what he did. He helped me do it. I told him what to write, and then he did it for me. So when he comes home from school, I'll have him break it down for me, and I'll definitely send it to you, my brother. Salute to my guy 2-4 in the building. He said, man, my score prediction was 28-12. Seattle was off 1 point. Yep, I had 28-17, and I was off a little bit as well. What was it, 29-13? I think that was the final score, 29-13. I had 28-17. So we were both right there, Abs, right there. Judo, Christian Gonzalez kept that game from being, yep, facts, man. He is phenomenal. Man, he should have been a Raider. Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God, bro. We're watching this kid out there, and he has some injury, history. I'm not going to act as though he's out there every single snap and every single game. Gonzo has had some issues with durability up to this point, but dog, I just watching Tyree Wilson year in and year out, and just looking at what Christian Gonzalez, it's just nasty work. Hey, I love Kubiak's run game. Genty is about to go off next year if we fix our O-line. Yes, facts. And most of the job is already done, Vet. We got rid of Brennan Carroll. Most of that work is already done by moving off of him. And, if we bring in Benton or we bring in whoever we bring in, it's going to be definitely an upgrade in terms of who's calling that O-line. So I'm not too much worried about it at all. I think that they're going to be smart enough to move DJ Glaze into the guard spot. I think Grant, they'll maybe give him a look at right tackle if we don't upgrade in the draft, or we bring in like a Braden Smith through free agency. I think they'll give Grant a chance to win that right tackle spot. Again, I don't know if JPJ is going to be at the center position, to be determined, but this is the third regime already with JPJ in place. And until I see them put him at center, I'm just going with the assumption that he's going to be a guard, and that's cool. Go get you a center in the draft, or go pay Tyler Linderbaum a shit ton of money. But this O-line is going to be fine. We got Caleb Rogers in the building. He showed what he can do at the end of the year. I think that he could be a serviceable guard. Colton's going to be healthy, from what I'm hearing behind the scenes. Colton's got a chip on his shoulder. So hopefully that shoulder stays healthy. But from what I'm hearing, Colton is a madman behind the scenes. He can't wait to get back on the football field and show that he belongs out there starting at the left tackle position, and that he can stay healthy. So we'll see. But I think that O-line is going to be good regardless. Even before we hit free agency in the draft, I think this is a serviceable O-line right now with all the talent that we have out there. We just had a commander-in-chief that didn't know what the fuck he was doing. You know what I mean? So to my brother Hammer in the building. My dog. Always good to see my brother in the building. Leave Will Putnam and Meredith at practice squad. That's, I think that Meredith doesn't need to be on a practice squad, but I think that he needs to be a rotational guy at best. He could be a backup. He doesn't need to start. He's a backup guard. That's who he is. You know, if he needs to come in, if somebody gets hurt and he needs to go come in and play a drive or two, that's who Jordan Meredith is. But put him back at guard. Don't try and have him play a position he's never played before. And then Will Putnam, you know, again, he definitely belongs on the practice squad. And I like Putnam. He has a nasty streak to his game. But again, a lot of that is because of Brendan Carroll. It just is what it is. Salute to everybody here in the building. As always, make sure you guys wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But again, salute to the Seattle Seahawks. Salute to our guy, our new head coach, Clint Kubiak, 29-13. Seattle went out there and had a massive game. Kenneth Walker, stud. Rube, salute to my dog Rube. Your boy George Halani got a ring, brother. He only had 2 carries for 6 yards, but again, he did get that onside kick. He did recover that onside kick that kind of put the game right there, you know, to an end. So salute to George Halani, Rube, our brother Rube. Talk your shit, Rube. Talk your shit, Rube. George Halani, the GOAT. Let's get to the real news here, you guys. All right. Clint Kubiak confirms he is headed to the Raiders as the new head coach of our Las Vegas Raiders. So at the end of the game yesterday, there was a tweet that went pretty viral, pretty quick. Stacey Dales on NFL Network, she put out a tweet and said that Clint Kubiak told her on air, on record, that he is going to the Raiders. Well, 2 seconds later, video surfaces, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. You know, he was kind of downplaying it at first because he was kind of trying to allude to the fact of, hey, I got one more day as a Seattle Seahawk. Let me enjoy this ride. You know, we're coming off a Super Bowl. Let me enjoy this day. And I felt like he kind of caught himself like, you know what? Let me kind of let Raider Nation, let me reassure them that I'm coming, that I'm on my way, that I will be in Vegas here after this parade in Seattle, right? He went on to say, you guys know I'm going to Las Vegas, so I'm fired up about it. And then she went on to say something along the lines of, okay, so you are going to be a Raider. He said, hell yeah, of course I'm going, as he smiled. So I love it, man. We got our guy. You know, it didn't take for us to sit here and wait for him to sign. You know, look, the dotted line is nowhere near done yet. You know, he has not flown out to Vegas just yet. I know Tom Brady was out there. Myself, and I know a lot of you guys is where we're tweeting, have the jet ready after the game. You know, Kubiak has a lot to do right now. Get back to Seattle, enjoy this, celebrate this win with that city, with that fan base, with his team. Then he has to pack and get rolling out to Las Vegas. So, but again, he let us know yesterday, Space Beast, I can't play the clip, brother. I wish I could, but if I did, I would get demonetized. NFL does not play that shit. So if I played it, I would get demonetized for this whole live. But just know, hell yeah, I'm coming. That's all you had to hear. That's all you had to hear. Like, he's excited to be the new head coach of our Las Vegas Raiders. And I feel like it was a perfect time right after, you know, they go out there and beat the living shit out of New England, that, you know, he lets the world know I'm on my way to be the savior of this Raiders team. I love it, man. And I agree, Jay. I think there's a press conference tomorrow. My brother LV Kubiak will be rolling into the facilities tomorrow morning. I agree. I believe that is a sign, seal, deliver. He'll be in there tomorrow. Maybe it's announced tomorrow and we'll have another live and we'll talk about it. But again, and we'll actually go live for the press conference as well. But this is a clear-cut situation here, you guys. Raider fans, including myself, our anxiety can come down. He let it be known yesterday. There's no way you back down now from the way that he said that. Hell yeah, I'm coming. Hell yeah. He's hyped. He's excited. And I'm excited as well, man. I really, really love that he did that right after the Super Bowl. He didn't have to do that. He could have just enjoyed this win with his team and said, I'm not worried about that shit right now. We'll get to that later on. You know, he was trying to do that, but then he caught himself and was like, you know what? Let me talk my shit a little bit. And Auntie Raider, yes, the clip is all over YouTube. It's all over Instagram. It's all over Twitter. So you guys go check it out. In Space Beast, I wouldn't be shocked if Q said that press conference tomorrow. It definitely is. He'll be out there. And then we can get to, you know, the free agency, you know, period with Spytek and Kubiak in the building working collectively to figure out what it is that they need to make this work. We'll get to the draft and, you know, hopefully they sit down and they figure out this whole Max situation as well, because there's more reports coming out today. I did not want to talk about Max Crosby today. I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm kind of over this whole situation. And that's not saying that look, I love Max. I respect Max. I love my Raiders. I'm just kind of over it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just over the whole situation. But we'll talk about it because there's a new report that came out today, and we'll get there shortly. So to Alex, people really don't understand how better the O-line will be without Brendan Carroll. Didn't Spytek lead a few meetings with the O-line? Yes, he did. Because of Carroll? Yes, delusional. Facts. It sounds like Gino was meeting up with Genty in the O-line outside of the facilities to try and figure this thing out. It sounds like Genty was going to Spytek and breaking down tape because his O-line coach was not helping him out. So yes. Q Meyer stated, Kubiak going through the car wash tomorrow at the facility. All platforms will have new info for the nation. There you go. Salute to our guy Q. Again, man, salute to my dog. I know me and Wasted have been talking. We're definitely going to have Q on the show here very, very soon. So stay tuned, man. We got to get our guy Q on the show. I know that's one name that you guys have not seen over here. We've had everybody over here up to this point except for our guy Q. So stay tuned. We're definitely going to be having that show, that live stream very, very soon. Salute to Drox. You the GOAT, man. You never forget the day once. Drox, my guy. You have been here for many moons. Salute to my dog, man. Salute to just been bad baby in the building as well, man. My guy. No, man. I think that the game is pretty much passed up. Wade Phillips. I think at this point, Wade Phillips is pretty much a professional tweeter at this point. You know what I mean? I don't know what he has going on right now, or if he's employed by anyone. I don't, is UFL. I don't know what the hell he has going on. Wade Phillips is one of the greatest defensive minds of all time. He's always been a great coordinator, not a good head coach, but a great coordinator. But I don't see that happening, brother. I don't. And I know why you're saying that, because of the Kubiak name. Mikey, I am live right now, brother. I am live. If you're in the chat, can't answer the phone right now. Salute to my brother Miguel, aka Mikey. But no. You're gonna look at some of these names out there in Seattle. Maybe they look outside the building. Maybe they look at Ajiro Avero. The backup plan. That was supposed to be the backup plan for the head coach, which a lot of people were saying, which I never believed any of those reports of him being the backup. He's the defensive coordinator for the Panthers. He comes from that tree, right? So I can see potentially them bringing him in. I wouldn't be upset about that, but expect some of those Seattle assistants, and we'll go over that. And again, as the hire becomes official, and I think that this staff is going to come together pretty quick. But Wade Phillips, no. 2K plus Doza equals new Raider dynasty. Raiders. Salute to my guy AC in the building, man. My dog. JJ, some of your favorite calls from Kubiak last night. I mean, there was a ton of them. One of those drives in the second half, he was kind of in his bag. It kind of like in the second half, he kind of said, you know what, Darnold, we'll go out there and start throwing the ball a little bit more. I forgot. I think it might have been the first drive in the second half, JJ, where he kind of went out there and started dialing some things up. Took a few shots, and I loved it. But I'm going to say this, and maybe I'm just cheating here, but I just love the way he committed to the run game. That was I'm telling you now, I was sitting there watching that game, director, and I'm thinking, okay, Darnold's going to throw a pick any minute now. If I seen that, Kubiak was like, you know what, let's get back to the ground game, because I'm telling you now, Kubiak probably was thinking, okay, he's going to throw it. He's going to turn the ball over here at some point. The jitters were there. The anxiety was there. I just love that he committed to the run game. I like some of those design runs. I love the motioning that they had out there in this system. Look, I can talk about Kubiak's play calling all day long, but I will say one of my favorite ones was the A.J. Barner touchdown in the back of the end zone on the right side of the football field. That was beautiful. When you watch the way he designed it, like Kubiak designed him to get open, it was a phenomenal play, because they ran that same play, but they did it in a different way in terms of A.J. Barner wasn't the guy that they were attacking. Nobody on that New England defense expected A.J. Barner to be the intended receiver when he caught that ball in the back of the end zone. So, but I'll say this. I just love the way he committed to the run game. Kenneth Walker was a hot hand. You got to roll with the hot hand. And I love that he didn't allow Darnold to go out there and potentially turn that football over and turn that game upside down and give New England a chance to win it. Salute to They Call Me Assassin. I know the speed of the pro game is faster than college, but I felt Mendoza on a similar stage facing a fierce pass rush versus NFL-level pass rushers, the Miami game, the Ohio State game, handled the pressure much better than Drake Maye. Look, They Call Me Assassin. Let me say this, man. I'm a Drake Maye fan, okay? I'm not giving up on Drake Maye. Even though he's a Patriot and I can't stand that organization, I agree with you, but I have to say this. That O-line was really, really, really bad yesterday. Really bad yesterday. Will Campbell was inside of his own head. He was continually getting pushed back into the quarterback. Drake Maye was just under duress the entire game. That left side with Wilson, Jared Wilson and Will Campbell, they struggled. I know the center had a penalty or two. They could not get it going. And you have to put some of that on Drake Maye. And I was kind of shocked that they waited for him like later in the game to start utilizing him with his legs. I think this year, statistically, he was like one of the best quarterbacks in terms of using his legs and getting loose and extending plays, extending drives. So I was actually shocked that they waited so long to, get Drake Maye going with his legs. But I'm not going to beat up on Drake Maye. I'm not. That O-line failed him. They couldn't get the ground game going. It is what it is. They need a true wide receiver one also out there. They need a real wide receiver one. And watch when that A.J. Brown trade to Mike Vrabel to New England hits, they're going to have their guy. They're going to have their guy. I'm telling you now, if anybody can keep A.J. Brown in check, it is the guy that he was down there in Tennessee with in Vrabel. So I'm telling you now, they'll get their guy, and they'll be a team that's going to be in the thick of things year in and year out. They have a nice blend also of young players and experienced guys. New England's not done just yet, you guys. I know that they had the easiest schedule, I think in history, leading into the playoffs, but they beat some tough teams, even though Denver did not have Bo Nix. I get that. But they're going to be a team that's going to be in the thick of things for years to come. But watch when they get A.J. Brown. They have a true number one receiver. They need one. Like Drake Maye needs a number one target. Salute to my guy, June. Just tuned in. I'm hitting the rewind on this. Salute to my dog, man. Salute to Primos in the building as well. My brother, salute to LV, says that quality content. Salute to my guy, man. Watch us rise, John. This is facts, my brother. This is facts, my brother. Salute to my guy, Sweeney. Primos, and we're going to talk about the Max thing. I'm leaving that for last, you guys, because, again, I'm not allowing any of that to affect the optimism and the excitement that I have around Clint Kubiak right now. Honestly, I don't. Richard, Cooper Kupp, no. He just signed a massive deal with Seattle. He's from the area. He just got a second championship with his home team. He's not going anywhere. But keep an eye on Shaheed. Keep an eye on him. I definitely see him following Kubiak from New Orleans to Seattle to Las Vegas. I can definitely see that. I would love that. Him, Tucker, Besh, Brock, Mayer, Thornton. That could be a fun, young receiving core with Shaheed kind of being the veteran in the mix with all those guys. I would love it. And then go get you another one in the draft. You know what I mean? So I think Shaheed will be a Raider. I think he's going to follow Kubiak again, and we'll have a guy. When's the last time we've been excited about special teams, you guys? Like, honestly, like anytime Shaheed touches the football, there's a chance that he can take off. I would love Shaheed to be a Raider, not only because he's a very serviceable receiver, but a guy that can help you in special teams. And we haven't had an exciting returner in many years. I mean, look, shit, it's so bad. I was excited about Raheem Mostert going out there and returning kicks for us. You know what I mean? At 39, 38, whatever old he is, I was excited about that. You know what I mean? So it's my guy Primos. What's up, chat? Kubiak played it smart last night. Why force big plays if you don't need them? Especially with the run game working. I thought we were tired of coaches overthinking. He didn't overthink it. And he won a championship, Primos, right? He did what he had to do in order. Look, he took a few shots. And what happened with those shots, Primos? I don't think that Darnold connected on one deep pass. He was off. He was clearly off all game yesterday. He kind of overthrew Shaheed. He had to lay out for one. JSN had a walk-in touchdown, but Darnold was under duress and threw it over his head. Like, it was clearly Darnold. It was not Darnold's day yesterday. It wasn't. And when you look at the box score at the end, you think, okay, he had 200 yards in the air, but he was 19 for 38, threw the football almost 40 times yesterday. So he wasn't that efficient. He had a QBR of 53. So again, but he had a touchdown and he had zero picks. That is why that offense did what they were supposed to do. Kubiak made sure that he didn't go out there and turn that football over. And that's all that you can ask. He committed to the run. Kenneth Walker went out there as a madman, won the MVP, clear-cut MVP at that. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if they gave it to Walker and then they kind of co-punter, co-field goal kicker. You know, I think he had what we talked about earlier, 17 points or something like that for their kicker alone. What was it, 17? I think it was it 17? 17 points. 17 points. But Kubiak called a phenomenal game. He's seen that it wasn't his guy's day, that it was not Darnold's day. So they committed to the run. It worked. And voila. The defense did what they were supposed to do. Seattle champions. Salute to Just Win, baby. May look like a deer in the headlights. This loss will fuel the rest of his career. Genty, Walker, I'm so down for that 1-2 punch. I would love it. I would love it. Honestly, Just Win, baby, I think that he will return to Seattle. They have a ton of money. They can bring back their guy. You know, he's still fairly young. He just coming off of a MVP performance in the Super Bowl. I think he returns to Seattle. And I don't know if, and I'm not here to knock Kubiak, but I don't know if Kenneth Walker is the biggest Kubiak guy. You know, like he leaned heavily on Charbonnet and Walker wasn't this workhorse out there that, you know, I know that he thought he was going to be coming out of Michigan State. I'm not trying to create a narrative here, you guys. I don't want anybody to think that I'm putting it out there that he doesn't like, that he doesn't, you know, doesn't like Kenneth Walker or Kenneth Walker doesn't like Clint Kubiak. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that pairing will happen again in Las Vegas, especially after you just drafted, you know, Ashton Genty there at 6 the year prior. And he's looking for a big, you know, leap in year 2. Would it be fun? It'd definitely be fun. I don't know how much money it would cost you, but go draft you one. Go draft you one. Just go draft you one. Go get you one of the later rounds. Create that duo with Genty and let's run it. So no doubting Mendoza, but signing a vet to help him in transition from college to the NFL. Brady believes rookie quarterbacks need to sit and learn year 1. I agree with you, J-Rock, but I'm going to say that this situation is different, brother. I don't think that this is a situation where Brady is thinking we have to sit Fernando Mendoza. This is a different type of human being here. This is a guy that is tailor-made for the NFL. And I don't think that he's going to sit one down, forbid, you know, God forbid anything happens in terms of injuries, God forbid, knock on wood. But I don't think this is a situation where they're going to sit the kid. I think that he's going to start from day 1. Would it be great to have a Kirk Cousins to back him up or, you know, one of those guys? Definitely. You definitely need to bring in a veteran that can help, you know, Fernando Mendoza behind the scenes. But I think this is a different situation. I truly believe. I know what Brady said, but I also think that Brady is very aware that Fernando Mendoza is very mature. His IQ is off the charts and that he'll be ready to go week 1. So I don't think we're going to bring in anybody to be the guy for this first 6 weeks. We can talk about it. I've talked about it. I don't think that it's going to happen. I don't. I think that Mendoza is going to start from day 1. Graphk, you doing the draft this year? I'm putting up oh, you put up the stage. Hit me up. Okay. Yeah, I was just talking to my brother Jason and the guys at Shieldmore. We're already looking into an Airbnb out there in Pittsburgh. We're definitely planning to go up there and cover the draft from Pittsburgh. So stay tuned, Raider Rich, and I'll definitely keep you posted, my brother. Salute to director. Seattle running back had the Michael Myers stunt going to. Yep. Wouldn't that be fun to watch him and Genty both in the backfield with the Michael Myers stunt? That'd be fun. That'd be fun. It's not going to happen, but that'd be fun. I would love it. I would love it. Salute to my guy, director. Yes. They mentioned that yesterday as well, the commentator team. They were talking about that. They didn't mention Ashton Genty, but they were talking about his stance. So to the 1,400 people in the building, get those likes up, you guys, and hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. Once again, for those who are just joining, some breaking news last night. Clint Kubiak himself broke the news that he is headed to Las Vegas to be our future head coach and that he's excited. In his words, not mine. Hell yeah, I'm going to Vegas. He's hyped. Just Win, baby. May look okay. Read that. Read that. And Red J Rocks. I want to make sure I catch all these supers and I'm not cheating anybody, man. Salute to everybody sending the super. Shaheed could be our Jacoby 4. Okay. I like that. And I love Jacoby. He can be better than that. And I love Kobe. Kobe was phenomenal for us, in special teams, returning kicks. But I think Shaheed can be better than that. And I don't know how Jacoby feels about that. We got to bring Jacoby back on the show. Me and Wasted had him on last year. We got to hit up the homie and get him back on the show. Salute to the Marcus. Yeah, you know what, Chuck? And I don't like that, man. I don't like that, bro. I don't like that. And I'm not going to turn this into a DC show. Chuck says Carr is begging to come back. I don't like that people are saying, why is Max doing this right now? Why is he doing this right now? Super Bowl week, we have our head coach coming into the building. Well, I don't like that DC, that this report comes out during the Super Bowl that he may unretire for the right situation after he's put up several podcasts about Clint Kubiak, right? Like who is the attention whore at this point? Honestly, I don't find it a coincidence that report comes out during the Super Bowl while Clint Kubiak is being named the head coach and he's calling the offense for the Seattle Seahawks. Kind of crazy out here in these streets, man. Everybody's killing, Max. Oh, he's an attention whore. And why is he doing this and why is he doing that? And then this report drops literally Super Bowl, during the Super Bowl. Come on, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? But again, in a lot of people's eyes in this fan base, he can do no wrong. So, Jesus Christ, Derek Carr. So to just another DJ. In your opinion, which area of the offense are you confident Kubiak will dramatically improve? I.e. the passing game, the run game, or O-line block. I think all of them. I don't want to sound like I'm cheating you here, but the way that offense was last year, the worst offense in football, damn near in every category, I think he's going to dramatically improve all of them. Brock is going to enter superstardom. Genty is going to enter. He's going to be a star this year in year 2. That run game is dramatically going to change. The O-line is going to get completely, it's going to be way better than what it was under Brendan Carroll. I don't want to cheat you here, just another DJ, but brother, he's going to dramatically improve all of it. But I'll start with the run game. The run game and the O-line, because he's going to bring in some dogs with him to run that O-line, and his scheme is going to be tailor-made for Ashton Genty. He's going to get that ground game going. That run game is going to be our bread and butter this upcoming season, and that's going to open up the passing game, for that offense. Again, what is a security blanket for a rookie quarterback? It's the run game, i.e. Ashton Genty, and it's the tight end, Brock Bowers. So set up the run to set up the pass. I think the run game is going to dramatically improve, and that's going to make everybody better. Hopefully that answered your question, my brother. Hopefully it did. Let me see. Salute to my guy, Willie. What would you think of the Eagles first rounder and one of A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith? No, they're not moving Devontae Smith. He'll be up there. And A.J. Brown, I don't want anything to do with A.J. Brown. I love the game. There's a lot that happened this last season in Philly. It looked as though he kind of took some plays off here and there. And, when he was getting his stats, all was well. Even when they were losing, he was smiling. And there was a lot that happened out there in Philadelphia. And we're not an A.J. Brown away right now, Willie, from going out and winning the Super Bowl. Honestly, I can say I want this guy or that guy. Like Rashid, Shaheed is perfect, right? Like it's a perfect, because again, he's not coming in as a clear-cut wide receiver 1, but he has a job, a specific job, and he knows what Kubiak commands of him and demands of him in that system. Like that is one of the type of moves I would make. I'm not making a trade for an A.J. Brown or one of these big name guys. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. In free agency, if you want to bring in an Alec Pierce, if he enters free agency, or if somehow, some way Dallas pulls the franchise tag and Pickens finds his way into free agency, you can take a look at him. But I'm not trading for a big name wide receiver. I'm not. And I don't know, what A.J. Brown would look like with Fernando Mendoza in year 1. I don't want to put too much pressure, on this kid in year 1. With a guy like A.J. Brown who demands the ball a ton, I wouldn't want, him out there with Fernando Mendoza and this young team, personally. So salute to my guy, Will. All right, let's get to this damn Max Crosby shit. All right, now, again, I've said that there's legs to this situation. and I'm not going to talk about this extensively today because I've said what I had to say, and it is what it is. People think I'm turning on Max Crosby, which is absolute insanity. I don't get it because Max is my guy, and I would preferably want to keep Max. But if the time is to do it, the time is now. There's the new report that came out today. All right. And again, known Raider hater writes an article over there, Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio. Okay. The puppet himself. Okay. Some interesting news coming out of, and this one I'm not going to buy. I'm just going to talk about it because, again, there is legs to this situation, but I'm not buying this one specifically. And when you hear the name, you'll probably understand why I'm not buying too much into it. But a report dropped today that an anonymous GM said that Max Crosby told Tom Brady he will never play for the Raiders again. The GM said that's a fact. He told them he'll retire before he ever plays for them again. But I'm not sure they're actually going to trade him. Myles Garrett said the same thing last year, and we know how that ended up. Now, this is coming from sportsboom.com. Jason LaCanfora, I believe, and you guys probably know this name. Anyone that's, watched the Raiders for many years and watched guys that have covered this football team are familiar with this guy. He's definitely hit or miss, more miss. But he put it out there that an anonymous GM stated that Max told Tom Brady he will never play for the Raiders again and that he'll retire before he ever plays with them again. I just find it weird and just it's kind of obvious that this was for clicks when he follows up with, but I'm not sure they're actually going to trade him. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it doesn't. He's telling the team he'll never play for him again. He'll retire. But I'm not sure they'll actually trade him. I don't think that this new regime is going to allow Max to hold them hostage. I don't think that Spytek or, our new coaching staff, Clint Kubiak or whoever else is coming into the building, along with Tom Brady, and as much as Mark is close with Max, I don't think that they would allow him to kind of handcuff them. Get rid of me now or I'll retire. I think that Spytek and company are smart enough to understand that if he wants to leave, the time is now for us to take advantage of this situation and go get some picks. Simple and plain. But again, I'm going to tell you guys right now, don't really buy into this. Anytime I hear an anonymous GM, I just kind of laugh about it because it's so easy to go out there to Radio Row during the Super Bowl and just kind of latch yourself on to all these narratives from Diana Rossini, Glazer, and Adam Scheffner, Ian Rappaport. It's easy to say all signs are pointing towards Max leaving. So let me create my own narrative and say an anonymous GM said this. I'm calling cap on this situation. Again, Florio is a known Raider hater. He's a known dick eater, dickhead. And then, the other name, again, with Jason LaCanfora, I think that's how you say his last name. Yeah, Jan. Like, I'm not looking at this as whatever. Yeah, but Bodega, Dick and Dynamite, bro. So, but hey, it is what it is. John says, but Graphk, with all due respect, you do the same thing when you say I have my. Well, first and foremost, let me say this. I've heard some things, but I've never said when you do this, John, and you hear anonymous GM, when you hear that, you always have to step back and say, okay, and again, these guys don't cover the Raiders for a living. I cover the Raiders for a living. And again, you can question whoever I talk to about some of the information that I get. You can question it. Look, I'm not here to sell you on every person that calls me or hits me up behind the scenes or I reach out to them is right. I'm not here to tell you that at all. All I told you was there's some real traction and some real legs to this situation. That's it. But again, this clearly to me is, let me latch on to this and say this. Because again, it's going to equal clicks. Florio is going to probably have millions of clicks today and make a ton of money off this one article alone. And they'll probably cut the check down with Jason and they'll run it and they'll eat. But again, look, I'm just calling cap on this specific situation. That's all I'm saying. I've said my piece on this, and whatever happens, happens. Again, I'm not here to try and be right or wrong. I don't really care. Like if Max stays, great. Like I'm here to say phenomenal. We kept our superstar pass rusher. If he leaves, I'm not going to say, I told you guys, I told you so. I'm not doing that. Not doing that at all. I never said that he was for sure going to leave. I never said he was for sure going to stay. I'm just saying if I had to lean one way, I'm saying that I have a feeling that Max is leaving. It is what it is. So take it as you may. If you don't believe it, cool. I ain't tripping. I'm not going to lose any sleep at night. This is what it is. Roll Tide Graphk, what do you think about the O-line? I think that he is the best O-line coach in football, but I don't believe that he's going to leave. He already left Philadelphia. I don't think he's going to be in Vegas. I just don't. If you guys get a chance to, Roll Tide, check out the new video that Wasted put up on his channel. Great short. He's been doing his thing with the shorts over there at his channel. Go check it out. I think that he is one of the best, if not best, offensive line coaches in football. And with him leaving now, there's potential retirements from some of the O linemen out there. And, it's a very serious situation out there in Philadelphia. That organization is kind of getting turned upside down out there with all the, the A.J. Brown talk. And now, with their O-line coach leaving, I think it would be phenomenal. But I think Benton's going to follow, his guy to Vegas. And I think that he'll be the guy to call the O-line. And he did a great job in Seattle. What has the knock been on Seattle, you guys, for many years? That they can't get a serviceable O-line together. Russell Wilson was running for his life. Geno Smith was running for his life. Benton did a great job out there in Seattle putting that unit together and getting the best out of them. So if I'm a betting man, Roll Tide, I think that Benton's going to be our O-line coach. I think he's going to follow his guy, Kubiak, and he'll turn that O-line around pretty quick. Chef Curry, my guy, man. Always good to see my brother in the building. O-line will be better. First, because we got rid of Carroll. And second, we have JPJ, Miller, and Miller coming back. Facts, man. Facts, my brother. Salute to my guy, Chef. Facts. Your two best offensive linemen coming back from injuries. Love to see it. Love to see it. Bubba says, I hear you, Graphk. Feels like he's not going to be with us this year. Yeah, man. Again, all I'm saying is I've never bought into any of that shit. Never bought into any of it. Every year, I'm like, whatever. Go back and check the files, you guys. Look at my channel. Every year. Whatever. It's fake. It's fake. It's fake. And it comes out fake. So there was no traction to it. I just feel differently this time. Michael, you disgusting human being, you. I'm at shorts on YouTube, Michael. You nasty son of a bitch. Nasty work, bro. Nasty work. I would never want to see Wasted in shorts anyway, man. That's just it. To me, it's like I don't know why, you guys. I have this nagging suspicion that my brother's like just like heavy up top, and then he has like no legs, like SpongeBob up top, and then like very Kevin Durant on the bottom. You know what I mean? If not Benton, then it would be Justin Otten. Okay. Another name that we've talked about over here as well, Jose. Facts. Waste is going to kill me. Salute to everybody here in the building. As always, get those likes up and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. Salute to my brother Hug D's in the building as well. Always good to see the GOAT in the building. But again, take this Max situation, however you choose to, you guys. If it helps you sleep at night, thinking that there's nothing to this, more power to you. I love it. I'm calling cap on this report today. Again, the Mike Florio situation. Anytime I see anonymous GM, I always just laugh it off. I'm just like, whatever. Like when I hear Glazer talk about a guy that he's close with, I'm listening. That forces me to make some calls, send some texts, and see if I can get any type of information, out there about the situation. when you hear Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter put it out there, it changes things. You know, when you hear the big three talking about things, and including Jordan Schultz, things are a little different here because they're tied in with all these agents. Do you guys find it a coincidence that all these guys dropped the news at the same time? Like, there's a clear-cut group thread of these agents sending the same message to all these guys at the same time. There's literally seconds apart of Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Jordan Schultz dropping everything. They all have connections to these agents and to these people behind the scenes. There's a reason why they're the guys that always break the news first, because the agents have them on speed dial. And I know, because I actually know a few agents, and one of them is like a brother to me. So, and that one is not that cool with one of those guys, and actually can't stand him, and it goes in another direction and goes to one of the other names over there when they want information put out there into the works. So again, take this as you may, but just know when you hear Adam Schefter and those guys talking, and Glazer's not going to say something like that again, you know, if there's nothing to the situation. But again, Kubiak will be signed here in the next potential 24 hours, 48 hours. Maybe they have a sit down with Max, and then we can figure all this thing out. Again, do you think you have to sell Max on sticking around? That's the thing that I don't like. I don't like that. No one is bigger than the program. Again, I'm a Max guy, but I don't think that anyone should have to sit down with a 28-year-old pass rusher and say, hey, this is what's going on. Do you want to stick around? Like, bro, look, if I'm Tom Brady and Spytek, I'm making the decision for you. If there's any inkling of you not wanting to be here, look, we can go get some draft picks and accelerate this rebuild quick, fast, and in a hurry. Would it be great for them all to sit down and have a conversation? Definitely. But if the conversation is, well, we're going to do this, this, and this, would you like to stick around? I don't like that. I want my GM to GM. I want my head coach to head coach. And I want my players to player. That's it. I don't want anyone trying to sell anything to this and that, because again, what if we start the season off 0-4, the trade deadline comes around, and now his trades, you know, his trade stock is down? What if this upcoming season, we have a pretty rough schedule, and we're going to have a rookie quarterback and a ton of young guys out there? What if we're at the trade deadline and we're not where we want to be yet? You know, where we are in terms of wins, losses, right? Then all we're doing is pretty much delaying the inevitable. You know, if you can build this thing up in free agency with some extra $30-35 million and then get you some extra picks going into the draft, I mean, come on, man. Come on. I mean, I just put this out there yesterday, you know, like, again, and then I'm going to get off this situation because I'm tired of talking about this shit. And I'm tired of you guys hitting my comment section, attacking me because I'm talking about this. And you're going to talk Max out of Vegas. I'm not talking anybody out. These are grown men we're talking about. If they want to leave, they already have it in their mind they want to leave, then they want to leave. They want to leave. But again, this is what we do. We're creators. We cover the Raiders. We're going to talk about shit that has anything to do with the Raiders. Okay? Like, it's just simple math here, you guys, especially when it's the superstar, the best player on your team. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, but could you imagine, like, having 2 firsts this year and 2 seconds this year, and you can go out there, you know, and potentially get, you know, Mendoza, and then have like the 12th pick, like from the Cowboys, whatever is the 12, 13, 14, wherever they are right there. You get Sonny Styles, you get the linebacker at Ohio State, you get those 2 players in the first round, and then you have an extra second rounder, and now you can go in there and get R. Thomas, you know, R. Mason Thomas, the pass rusher from Oklahoma, and then you can get Dunker there in the second round. You potentially have your next pass rusher, your next big offensive lineman in Dunker, your next, you know, the athletic linebacker that we've all been waiting for in Vegas with Sonny Styles, and then you have your QB1. You mean to tell me that you wouldn't be excited about potentially having those 4 picks potentially right there at your disposal? And I'm not saying that a lot has to happen in order to secure those 4 guys. Sonny Styles can go even before that. He's that good. But again, could you imagine having that kind of draft where you end up with Mendoza, Sonny Styles, you know, R. Mason Thomas, and Dunker? That would be insane. That would be insane. People forget about Walker, that Charbonnet had like 700 yards rushing too. Facts, see, Rob? Facts. And Walker had a little bit over 1,000. A little bit over 1,000. Yeah, they definitely had a nice duo out there with Charbonnet, and then Helani would come in and carry here and there as well. Javi, Myles Garrett situation 2.0, yearly and never leaves. Salute to my guy, man. Salute to my guy. So the hug. Here's the thing. Max is on a precipice. He can lead to a contender and still miss out on the Super Bowl and miss his opportunity as the Raiders rise. Facts. And I think that he's definitely thinking about that. He is. I think that at this point, that's probably why they'll sit down and have a conversation and kind of see where, this new regime believes, where we can take this team in year one. But yes, you're right. You're right, Hug. Definitely. We talked about it on yesterday's show. I couldn't even imagine how Max would feel if he forced his way out of Las Vegas. And then boom, he goes on to lose with another organization, and the Raiders are the next Commanders in year one. Jaden Daniels, those guys go to the NFC Championship. Like, we're that next team. Could you imagine? I couldn't even imagine Max's thought process at that point. But again, is it worth it to say what if, or can I go to a possibly better situation off the rip? It's tough. Let Max move on. Look at the Seahawks. Do they have a superstar on their defense? I don't think so, and they still want us to. Well, I think they do. I think they do, regular. I think they have a lot of them. Leonard Williams, Big Cat. Maybe not a superstar, but he's a star. Witherspoon is a star. Honestly, at this point, when they move Kobe from the nickel to the safety spot, I'm not gonna say superstar, but they have a ton of big names on that defense. D-Law, I know he's kind of at the end of his career. He played really well for Seattle. They have a ton of big name guys and stars on that defense. Now, what you mean by superstar, right? Do they have a Myles Garrett? I think Witherspoon at the corner position definitely is a superstar. I think he sets the tone out there for them. He's just a game wrecker. But I have to disagree with you there, Ray Glide. They have a ton of stars on that defensive side of the ball. Yeah, so let me see. Yeah, Anthony Witherspoon's an all-pro. Like, they have a ton of talent on that side of the ball. Man, they're that defense. They and Nick Omawari, he's going to be a superstar. This is just his rookie season. He's going to be a superstar. That kid is phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. Play safety, kick into the nickel. That Duke can do it all. So we'll see. Demokes, unpopular opinion. I think Mendoza should sit year one. It's beneficial for anyone. You can look at Sam Darnold as an example. Frog King. Salute. Can you, Demokes? Can you? Shit, he's coming off of a championship right now. Sometimes you got to go through your bumps and bruises and take your lumps in order to get to where you need to get. I just personally think, and even with Sam Darnold coming out of USC, all the talk was he'll be ready. He'll be ready off the rip. And the team he went to let him down. Let him down. I think he's going to be ready week one, Demokes, honestly. I do. Yeah, and Dre, look, it only made him better, right? That year one with Peyton Manning in Indianapolis was terrible. People don't really look back at that anymore because of how great Peyton Manning was. Year one was miserable for Peyton Manning out there. Didn't they win one game, Dre? I think they won one game that year. Didn't they win one game? I could be wrong, but his stats were terrible. He was terrible. The team was terrible. And then look, Peyton Manning is one of the best players ever. Yeah, he led the league in picks in year one, Daniel. There you go. Facts. Salute to my guy, Demon King, my brother, man. We got to meet up soon, bro. Salute to my guy, man, gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships. My brother, man, I appreciate you. Salute to all the new members in the building because of one of the GOATs over here, my brother Jason, a.k.a. Demon King, my guy. Me too, Q. I definitely wanted Nick Omawari in that draft. He was phenomenal coming out of South Carolina. When I seen Seattle get him, I already knew. I'm like, he's going to be a superstar. He's going to be a superstar. If you guys missed out on those 5, you guys hit the link. It's pinned up top. Again, it definitely helps us keep the lights on over here at OLV Raiders Network membership with the memberships. So it's my guy Hug. Walking into the gym leg day in honor of chicken legs wasted. Talk that talk, my brother. Talk that talk. SpongeBob up top, Kevin Durant below. Talk that talk, Hug. Talk. Let me see. Weatherspoon, Amawari, Kobe Bryant. They went and got my guy Julian Love. I know they didn't draft him, but they got him in free agency, I believe, and gave him a nice deal. My guy, Notre Dame. Yes. Tariq Woolen. Wow, that was my guy in that draft. Sometimes, man, y'all just, man, they gotta listen, man. They gotta listen. Sometimes I'm just like, how do simple podcasters know that some of these guys are gonna be? It's kind of crazy, man. Salute to my brother LV Goldie in the building. Good to see my dog. Jerome says, "Are we done with Glaze?" No, we're not. Why will we be done with DJ Glaze, man? He's on a rookie deal. He's going into year 3. Year 2 was really bad under a very, very terrible position coach in Brennan Carroll. I think that the next regime is going to kick him in the guard and he'll be great. I don't think that DJ Glaze, and we'll talk to him here soon. He'll be on the show soon. I just talked to him not too long ago. I'm going to bring him back on the show and talk about the offseason and all that stuff. I'll tell you one thing, though, man. All the guys are excited about Clint Kubiak being in the building. Dante hit like on the video I uploaded with him. Dylan hit like. They're excited. They're excited, man. This is going to be a fun time in Raider Nation, you guys. Get excited because it looks as though we're getting the right people in the building for the first time in a long time. Gio, salute to my guy Graphk in the chat. Going to tip a Corona tonight for our new head coach. Going to be a fun off season watching OLV cover the draft, man. Cheers. Salute to my dog, man. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Always good to see my guy Gio. 23 months, man. My dog. Appreciate you, bro. How soon do you predict we'll get that press conference? Tomorrow. No later than Wednesday. Next 48 hours. I predict Kubiak to be in Vegas, signed on the dotted line, ready to roll. I think the Raiders are going to allow him to go out there and get right and celebrate with his former team, and then he'll be right in the building. Definitely. Let me see. Yeah, man. Jay Rader sucks. And now he's looking at a minimum of 5 years in prison if found guilty. Disgusting, man. Everybody knew he could be a great player coming out of Tennessee. The knock on him was character issues, and now he's living up to it, which is sad. And now Atlanta looks crazy, just crazy, with this whole situation. Drafting him and trading a future first. They don't have a first in this year's draft class because of him. Now they look insane. Another blemish on Atlanta sports. It's kind of crazy, man. Okay, parade is on Wednesday, so probably after that. I mean, it could be after that, or he could come into Vegas tomorrow, sign, and go back to Seattle and enjoy the ride. So, I mean, Gen X says, yeah, we talked about that. I don't know. Again, I don't know personally. Q probably knows, but it sounds like maybe tomorrow we'll do that. And then either way, you guys, he could sign on to be the Raiders head coach and still fly back out Wednesday if that's the day for the parade and go enjoy it with his former team. I don't think that Tom Brady or Mark Davis or Spytek will have any issue with him going out there and celebrating a win, that he was a major part of. So, Spivey, my dog, man. Appreciate you, brother, gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships. My G, the Kevin Nash of Mount Shillmore. Salute to all the new members in the building because of my guy, Spivey, man. James Pierce D. Rich is in trouble. I believe he just got out of jail on bond. It sounded like he tried to run a police officer over, like ran into his knee, stalking his ex-girlfriend, Sparks player, WNBA. There's a lot of other shit that went into that situation. I'm not a legal counsel or specialist. I'm not going to read off his shit, but I just know that it looks very, very serious with James Pierce out there with all the legal shit that he's dealing with. He has a battle on his hands right now. It'll be tomorrow. Graphk parade in Seattle was announced. Okay, there you go. Salute to my guy, Van City. And I know you know because you're up there in the Northwest. So salute to my guy. Let me see. Spivey's dropping like it's hot. Stupid. Get those likes up, y'all. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button again if you're not subscribed yet. Let me see. Yeah, Irish called a great game. Great game. Again, it's so crazy to see. They ran the ball 32 times, you guys. Like, just because of how great the run game was yesterday, 141 on the ground as a whole, right? But they threw the football 38 times. It doesn't even seem like it was a well-balanced offense yesterday because of how great the ground game was. Think about that. They threw the football 38 times. They ran the football 32 times. 80-plus plays, well-balanced. Well-balanced. So, and I think Darnold threw the ball a lot more in the second half as he calmed down a little bit. Because, again, at one point, Kubiak started getting in his bag a little bit and kind of letting Darnold throw the football a little bit more. But early on, I'm telling you now, he felt that pressure. Darnold felt that pressure early on. And Kubiak sensed that and said, you know what, we're gonna commit to the run game and we're gonna get it right. And Kenneth Walker just absolutely went out there and ran all over that New England defense. Graphk, would you trade back into the first if it was possible? Just depending on where you're trying to go. Raiders got like where? Like, you're not getting back into the top 10 unless you move your future first next year, which I wouldn't do because next year's class is going to be a fun class. So it just depending on who's there and where you're trying to get. Are you trying to get into the late 20s? If somebody drops, I need more. Elaborate on that, Raiders got if possible. Because personally, I want 2 picks next year. Again, next year is a QB heavy class. That means that Jeremiah Smith can drop next year. If you have 2 first-round picks, you guys, and let's just say we get this O-line together and they're starting to develop this year, and you still haven't identified that wide receiver 1. If you have 2 first-round picks next year, and you're somewhere drafting 7 between 10, and you think that Jeremiah Smith, which he will be a top 5 pick, regardless of how many quarterbacks are there, you may say, you know what, let me go ahead and package these 2 up. Let me go ahead and package these 2 up and go get Jeremiah Smith. Why not? Then you have him. You got all those guys. You got Brock, Genty, Fernando, Mendoza. Could you imagine? Next year is a heavy quarterback class. So a guy like Jeremiah Smith can drop a few spots. If you have 2 firsts, if you move Max and you got 1, that 2027 first means more to me than this year. Honestly, it does. Because, dog, if you could end up with him on this roster, man, hopefully Gino didn't, tell Jeremiah Smith, stay the fuck away from Vegas, right? Which we wouldn't care anyway. Go get him anyways. But I'm just saying that's his cousin for those who don't know. But next year, I'm looking at Jeremiah Smith. If we don't get our wide receiver 1 in free agency, or one of these young guys that we get in this draft just becomes that guy, I am next year, give me another first if we trade Max and let me get Jeremiah Smith. That is the guy for me next year. We got our quarterback, we got our running back, we got our tight end. Go get that guy, get the playmaker. And Sky High, I agree with you. If you move out, you got to get an edge rusher. Yes, this year, or again, you can get a Sonny Styles and you can wait until the second and get you a R. Mason Thomas if he's available there. But again, I hear you. I mean, it would be great to be able to somehow, some way end up with Mendoza and Ruben Bain, but I don't see that happening. You'd have to give up the farm to make that happen. That's another top 5 at the bare minimum top 10 pick with Ruben Bain out of Miami. No player is greater than the team. Trade him. J-Rock, let me say this. Let's not jump the gun here yet, okay? All we can go off of is he say, she say, this person this person that. I'm not here, again, I don't want people to think that I'm trying to bash, Mass, because, again, he knows personally how I feel about him. We're good. We're good money. But, it's just, again, it would have been easy to come out and say, this is my team. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about Fernando Mendoza. I'm excited about, Clint Kubiak being our head coach. I'm excited, about, I understand why they sat me for a few weeks. Now we potentially have our quarterback of the future. You know what I mean? Like, again, there's reasons behind why he's not saying that. There's a lot of political shit going on behind the scenes where there's potential moves to be made. All I'm saying is I feel like if Max felt like that, he would have said it. He would have said it. But again, Max loves the Raiders, J-Rock. He loves the Raiders. It just sounds like there's a disconnect with him and one person in particular who is now running the show, which is John Spytek. And if that relationship's fractured, you move on. I'm not keeping Max over the GM again. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing that. Like, and I don't mean again. I'm valuing Spytek right now. Some may say, why? What did he do to deserve that? I don't care. Look, I'm not trying to get rid of Spytek after 1 year because of a potential, issue with our star player. I'm just not doing it. I'm giving Spytek the keys. Take the keys, build this shit up. You got Brady in your corner, build this thing up. So if it's a problem here where it's pick me or him, I'm sorry, y'all. You can say whatever you want. We haven't won a playoff game with Max Crosby. We haven't won a championship with Max Crosby. I think we've only been over 500 maybe once or twice, since we've had him in the building. And this is no knock on Max because it's not his fault, But again, look, do we want to be a competent organization or do we not? Because if we do, look what Seattle did. You see what they did? They knew it was time to move on from Pete Carroll and those 9-8s, those 10-7s. And their general manager said, we're going to go get one of the brighter defensive minds in football, Mike McDaniels, who was doing really good things in Baltimore. Brought him in. They continued to draft well. And look what they did. All because the general manager chose to take all the power back because that's what Pete Carroll wanted in Seattle. He wanted to be the guy. He wanted to be the guy. And guess what? They got rid of him, and Seattle went on to win a championship as Pete Carroll had the worst record in football with the Raiders. Sit with that for a second. Pete Carroll with Max Crosby on his roster and other players had the worst record in football this year as Seattle went on to win the Super Bowl. Look, at some point we have to say, let those guys in the upper room handle their business. Simple and plain. And that's where I am now. Regardless of how great you can be as a player, regardless of, how much you mean to this fan base, at this point, look, Spytek is the guy. Spytek's the guy. He's the guy. Let him do what he needs to do. Because he knows what it looks like. Again, he knows what it looks like. He was there in Denver with Gary Kubiak when they won a championship. He was there helping him put that thing together. He was in Tampa Bay when they brought in Tom Brady and won a championship. So, Romanowski, I didn't see that, bro. I didn't see Greg Townsend, and that doesn't even sound like Greg Townsend. Honestly, that doesn't even sound like him. I don't think that Greg would ever say anything like that. Now, I could be wrong, and I've been around Greg several times. He does not come off as a guy who would say something like that. I don't even know where the hell that came from. Salute to J-Rock. Yeah, man. One's 3-14, 14-3. Yeah, so. Reaper, to me, brother, and look, I got love for you. You've been around here for a long time. To me, you sound like a guy that is just Team Max Crosby. And that's okay. You can feel how you want to feel. Again, who's my favorite player on this team? Max Crosby. But again, I'm not going to be here to call him a puppet at all. Is he a big reason why he's in the building? Of course. He's Brady's guy. But puppet, no. One works in the building every single day. The other one is there when need be. Salute to my guy Josh, man. I love Max, but if he allegedly, he doesn't want to play for any more, then trade him. Plus, he's getting up there in age with back-to-back knee surgeries. Look, I don't buy that. I don't buy that specific news. I just don't. I don't. I couldn't even see Max say, I refuse to play for this team. Do I believe that there's smoke to the situation? Definitely. But do you think that Max, the competitor that he is, would tell Tom Brady, I would rather retire than play for the Raiders again? Does that even sound right? A guy that wants to win a championship, I'd rather retire than play for the Raiders? And even in this whole situation, it sounds like Max felt like he was lied to. right? Like, I was told one thing and they did another, right? I don't know if last minute Spytek said, hey, sit him. We're getting too close to potentially landing that number one spot. Sit him. Get him right. Blah, blah, blah. There's something else there that only Max and Spytek is privy to. But again, look, it sounds like the damage has been done. And could they possibly fix it? Definitely. And with Kubiak coming into the building, maybe they all sit down and say, hey, let's get this thing rolling. Let's figure this thing out. But again, I'm Spytek all the way. I'm Team Spytek. I am. I'm old enough, you guys, and wise enough to know how bad this team has been because of moving on from general manager to general manager, the general manager, the general manager. And then back in the day, having Al Davis overseeing everything where no general manager really had any power over anything. I don't find it shocking that, when Al had passed and Mark brought in Reggie McKenzie, that things had changed. He gave McKenzie the keys, and McKenzie went out and got Gabe Jackson, Khalil Mack, DC, and, went and got a ton of, Colecchio Semele and Huddy in free agency and all that other shit. I'm just here to say, man, I just want my general manager to general manager. I remember having GMs and Al just saying, that ain't going to work for me, dog. That ain't going to work for me, dog. From one coach to the next, one coach to the next, GM to the next, GM to the next. I'm just saying, man. Salute to my guy, Josh. But I'm not buying that report. I'm not. I just think that this is another case of people jumping on top of the topic that's already hot and adding a little bit more of their own flavor to it, throwing their own little ingredients into it, and kind of making a gumbo pot of bullshit. That's just how I feel about it. I'm not buying that report at all. Like that Bailey linebacker from Texas Tech. Facts, man. And I think Bailey's going to be gone in the top 10, top 12. He's a stud. Physical specimen. He's a beast. He's a beast, Michael. This is facts, brother. But some people will say if he's available, don't take him because of the Tyree Wilson debacle. But if he's there and the Raiders choose to bring him in, I would not be upset at all. They have a few talented guys out there. Romeo Height, and they have a Romello Height, Jacob Rodriguez. Yeah, man. Yeah, Reggie Nelson, Rodney Hudson. Amerson was good for a year or two and then signed that deal and kind of tailed off. Sean Smith, his ass was getting drunk and showing up to games. Wild times. But yeah. Definitely. D-McKee says Barton and Rodriguez. Okay. We on Team Rodriguez all the way. I don't care if he's an undersized linebacker. I'm all for bringing him in for sure. Let me see. Chi-Town says the problem is Mark made Max believe he was bigger than the team. Now that we have Tom and Spytek in charge and they saw what needs to happen, told Max to sit him down. Max couldn't believe that he didn't have the power to do what he wants anymore now that he wants out. And you could be right. You could be right because it definitely seems like there's ego tied to this situation, Shy, for sure. It's a new day in Raider Nation. Max, 0 Super Bowl wins. Brady, 7 of them shits. When you look again at what Spytek, did the work behind the scenes with Denver and Tampa Bay, there's some jewelry tied to him as well. So I'm going to go with the guys that have won championships. Simple and plain. I don't want to be a team that watches us constantly be bad but just be bad, but we want to keep our superstar because we just want to keep our superstar. You see it in the NBA every year. Like they have, what team, I'm trying to think right now who has like a big star player and it just didn't work constantly. You know what I mean? But we're keeping him around because he's a superstar player. It happens every year. If this is the time and they feel it's time to pull the trigger, they make the move. Again, if Max says, you know what, I want to stick around and I believe in this thing, then hey man, keep him around. Don't just move him just to move him. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason to just do it just to do it. But if it makes sense, it makes sense. I see Harden. I see, some of those guys in Milwaukee. Yep, right. Giannis. KD, right? Yeah. You don't just keep guys to keep guys, man, just because. It doesn't make any sense. The Raiders aren't in a situation anymore, you guys, where you have to keep one superstar to sell tickets, to be one of the higher, in terms of finances, one of those teams at top, up top in the NFL. We don't need to do that anymore. We're already there. You don't have to keep a guy just to sell jerseys anymore. You don't have to do that. This isn't the old Oakland Raiders where you hold on to a guy just to hold on to a guy to get whatever money you can out of the situation. This team is going to sell out regardless. They're making money hand over fist. You don't need to hold on to players just to hold on to players. You don't need to. We're not in that type of situation anymore. Mark has turned this team into one of the most beneficial teams financially in sports, not just in the NFL, but in sports in its entirety. So you don't just hold on to players just to hold on to players. This isn't Milwaukee where they're just hoping and praying that they can build around Giannis again and somehow, some way get another championship. They're never going to win another one in Milwaukee. So, D'Angelo, man, look, bro, I hear you. If people in the chat mention Max and we want to talk about it, we're going to talk about it, bro. Coffee and Convo is the people's show, brother. I hear you. I do not want to talk about Max constantly, but again, a report dropped today and the people want to talk about it. So I'm here to talk about what the people want to talk about. Again, Coffee and Convo is not my show. This is your show. And I'm here to just speak about what you guys want to speak about. And if news breaks that Max Crosby tells Tom Brady he'll retire, he'd rather retire than be a Raider, we're going to talk about it, whether it's real or not. It just is what it is. So, and we started off the show, the first 45 minutes to an hour talking about the Super Bowl, talking about Clint Kubiak. So if you want, run the show back and hear it. But bro, look, I'm talking about what the people want to talk about, man. If you think for one moment that I could have dodged the Max talk in this show, you're fucking crazy. You think I'm just going to skip over the 90,000 fucking comments in the comment section about Max because I specifically or I personally don't want to talk about it? Come on, man. Who do you think Kubiak picks as our next DC? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I really don't know yet. I don't know what direction they're going to go in. What direction he's going to go in. I really don't. I don't. There's a few interesting, assistants out there. We could potentially bring in the defensive coordinator from Seattle, and I would love that because he'd get to call his own plays, right? No, D'Angelo, it's all good, my brother. It's all good. He can look at Carl Scott, another guy that, we asked to interview last year with Pete Carroll's staff, right? But I think that he's going to keep it Seattle. Carl Scott would be cool, Isaiah, but to be honest with you, brother, salute to Mike McDaniels. I think he's the first head coach to win a Super Bowl that also calls plays defensively. I think I've seen that. I know in New England, they kind of, it was like a collective thing out there with Bill Belichick. There was something that came out that he was the first guy to call his own defense to win a championship, which is actually kind of crazy. It's wild. But I see Trav says Rob Leonard, maybe. I don't know if they give him the job. Joe Woods, another interesting name. Rallis, okay. I don't know, man. Carl Scott is definitely an intriguing name, though, to keep an eye on. I'm looking right now. There was an article that let me real quick, you guys. Hold on real quick. While I do this. As I do this, man, make sure you guys wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Damn, where did it go? I had it up. Boom. There was an article that was interesting that I wanted to bring up, but I can't find it right now, you guys. But again, Scott is a name. We talked about Aiden Durd a ton already. And I don't know if Mike McDonald allows him to leave Seattle just yet. But once again, he is an interesting name because he may be ready to call his own plays. So that is a name to definitely keep an eye on. Aiden Durd, he's been around and football for 9 years. Expect John Benton again to follow. Kubiak to Las Vegas, 33 years of experience in football. He's been great on the offensive line out there in Seattle. He's a name to keep an eye on to bring in offensively. Maybe, just maybe, I don't know. Leslie Frazier can be a name to keep an eye on. He's the assistant head coach. I wouldn't be shocked if Kubiak said, hey, you want to come out here and call the defense? But I'll say this, maybe Leslie Frazier ends up being the assistant head coach and their new defensive coordinator, and then Aiden Durd follows Kubiak to Vegas. That can be an interesting, package there. We shall see. But keep an eye on Durd. Keep an eye on potentially Leslie Frazier, maybe, and Carl Scott. Salute to my guy Ryan on a $20 smackaroonie. My brother, man, salute to you. Just didn't even say nothing. Just donated. I appreciate you, my brother. Salute to you, man. As always, thank you, my brother. David Walker, I'm a big fan of him. I always like those Cincinnati guys, man. The Kobe Bryants of the world. I was hip to Sauce Gardner early on. Look, I'm always, the Alec Pierces of the world, the Trey Tuckers of the world. Cincinnati is an interesting school, man. They always have a ton of talent coming out of that school that are not the big name guys. But yeah, he's definitely a stud, and I would not be against bringing him in at the linebacker position. I have him as like a mid-round pick, like in the third round. But if he fell into that fourth, where we have 3 picks in the fourth, which I can see, I would definitely bring him in. This is a great class with linebackers, and I think that he'll be available there in that third round, unless one of these teams think that he's a second-round talent, which possibly could be. But I'm a big fan of Jake. I have no issue bringing him in at all. Trav says Jeff Howard, Seattle safeties coach, is another DC candidate. Okay. Again, a few of these guys are definitely going to follow. Definitely going to follow Kubiak to Vegas. David Walker, I appreciate you, my brother. Says Northgate and West El Camino in the house, now in San Jose, California. Salute to my guy. Definitely familiar with Northgate. Lived out there for a while. West El Camino. Lived in San Jose as well. Salute to Northern California as a whole. I watched that Super Bowl week, and it made me miss home so damn much. Man. Love it, man. Nothing like Northern California, man. My dream is for C.J. Allen to fall to this. He's going to be there. I think he's going to be available. The young linebacker out of Georgia, I think he'll be there in the second round. Now, maybe a team thinks that he can be, a late 20s, maybe. I think I have him as a second-round talent. Yeah, we talked about that as well. Another name that could be interesting. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Avero, definitely. Another guy that was so-called the backup plan to be the head coach if Kubiak backed out. He's the coordinator out there, defensive coordinator for Carolina. Former, I think UDFA walk-on with the Raiders and ended up being a coach. I think, wasn't he a walk-on UDFA when Gruden was out there, I believe? But yeah, another name to monitor and keep an eye on. It's not going to happen, Chi-Town. I would love it. That is one of my favorite players in this draft. I would love Caleb Downs, but I don't see any team in that top 10 potentially moving off their pick. I don't. I think that it starts with the Rams. And where are they? Are they 14, somewhere around there? I think the Cowboys are 12. Don't quote me on that. But I don't see in any world where we fall into that Caleb Downs territory. He's honestly a top 3 talent in this draft, but he'll be a top 7 pick. I don't see the Raiders getting anywhere near there, even with a trade with Max, unless one of those teams really say we believe in Max and he can get us over the top. Anybody drafted in the top 10, I don't see the Raiders getting a pick for Max, but that would be interesting. That'd be crazy. Caleb Downs, to me, is going to be a perennial all-pro safety at the next level. The kid is that special. He's that special. So let me see. I can see that. Demon King. I can see that, brother. I can definitely see that. Chargers going to throw the bank at Linderbaum? They probably will. That O-line sucks. But they're getting back Rashawn Slater. They're getting back Joe Alt. You know what I mean? Look, they have the money. I can see it. I can definitely. Didn't they just hire Adam Gase? It's kind of crazy, man. Kind of crazy. John, we've talked about Surratt a million times, bro. You know how I feel about Elijah Surratt. I would not be against bringing him in and pairing him back with Fernando Mendoza. But I'd keep an eye on Omar Cooper Jr. there in the third round. I would go get Mendoza in round 1, go get you a defender in round 2, whether that's the best linebacker available or the best edge rusher, preferably there in the second round. And then if Omar Cooper Jr. is there in the third, bring him in and have him, reunite with his guy at Indiana. And then in that fourth round with those 3 picks, you go defense. You go get you a corner. You go get you, a linebacker, a defensive tackle, whatever. Go defense there in that fourth round. Let me see. But yeah, get a few more questions in, you guys. Again, salute to everybody here in the building. We're about to hit 2 hours. I was not going to go live that damn long initially, but wanted to talk a little bit about this Clint Kubiak situation. He confirmed last night, you guys, again, that he will be a Raider. He was being interviewed by NFL Network's Stacey Dales, and he said he is on his way to Las Vegas. You guys know I'm going to Las Vegas, so I'm fired up about it. And she asked him, are you going to the Raiders? And he said, hell yeah, of course I am going. So we have our next head coach in Clint Kubiak. We talked about Kubiak's game plan yesterday. I thought that he called a remarkable game. Sam Darnold struggled, but again, Kubiak found a way to still keep things rolling out there with the offense. They got the ground game going, 141 yards on the ground. They ran the ball 32 times, and they got, Darnold more involved in the passing game there in the second half. But I really, truly believe that Kubiak was trying to protect Darnold a little early because those New England defenders were jumping routes and they were being very aggressive early on. And I think that Kubiak was like, let's calm you down a little bit with Darnold. I thought he called a really, 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 really great game. We talked about the Max situation. I'm going to call Cap on this whole Mike Florio article about Jason Lockenfora over at sportsboom.com saying that Max told Tom Brady he'll never play for the Raiders again and that he would rather retire than play for them again. I'm going to call major cap on this specific article. Again, I'm still here to say that there's legs and real traction to this situation, but I'm going to call ultra cap on that new article that dropped today. I don't see Max saying that again. Max could have, but I do not see Max saying that at all. Salute to Ray, my guy, on becoming a member. Salute to my brother. Appreciate you. Welcome to Green Dot Gang. If you guys want to become members, hit that link up top. Again, it helps us keep the lights on. Salute to King as well, my guy. Fans don't want to do the hard things sometimes. Seattle rebuilt that team on the back of trading a loved player, Russ. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Love Max, but it's all about the program. And think about this, King. Think about this. If they would have listened to the fans, they would have probably had Geno Smith still in the building. You know how many people I've seen online killing Seattle for trading Geno Smith and bringing in Sam Darnold? Do you know how many of those Seattle fans refused to move off of Pete Carroll and they were ready to pick him over their general manager, a guy that put that team together, the Legion of Boom, early on, and now put another team together to win another championship in Seattle? Look, if I'm a general manager and or owner, I'm a fan. I'm not really giving a fuck what y'all talking about. I'm just not, including I don't really give a shit. Now, when it comes to the draft and we like, yo, this player is great. And a lot of us know what we're talking about with this draft. It's a little different. But the way they go about this thing with these coaches and this fan base, look, if they would have listened to the fans, Geno would have still been in Seattle. Pete Carroll would have still been in Seattle, and they would have been a middle-of-the-pack football team this past season. Their O-line would have been probably bad. Geno would have probably still led the league in picks out there in Seattle. So, again, it is what it is. If this regime believes that they can get better moving off of Max Crosby, then you move off of Max Crosby. Just is what it is. Regardless of how the fans feel or not, just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let the general manager be the general manager. Would it hurt? Would it sting? Yes, it would sting to lose a player like Max. But again, Max is 28, coming off of, some injuries and some surgeries. Now, if Spytek went out there and traded Brock Bowers this offseason, okay, now we're having a different conversation here. Like, now we're having a different conversation here. A guy that's in the hasn't even hit the pinnacle of his career yet, right? And he's only in year 2. Now we can have another conversation where it's like, team, get rid of Spytek. But come on, man. We have to stop being so in love with these players and allow these guys to do what they got to do. So, let the general manager, let the players play. And salute the king, my guy, man. My guy. But other than that, y'all, let me get the hell out of here. I know there's almost 1,700 people still strong. Get those likes up and also hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed. You guys want to do one mock draft before we get out of here? You want to do one mock draft? We can do a mock. We can have some fun. You guys want to do a mock? Let me know in the comment section. We can do a mock before we get out of here. Have some fun. Feel like we haven't done one in a while. So, Ray, do you think Matt Burke, the Texans DC, would be open to call his own defenses? Why not? Why not? He has a good job out there, though, Ray. He has a really good job out there with Ryans. They have a phenomenal defense out there. What's funny, man? Maybe he sticks around. If that defense is at the top of the league again next year, maybe he ends up getting a head coaching job elsewhere. But he's not going to make a lateral move, leaving that already built defense with Houston to go to Vegas and have to, develop these guys in year 1, because this is going to be a very young defense this upcoming season, you guys. We're going to have to be patient with that side of the football. With all the free agents that we have and most of them being veteran guys, they're on their way out. It's going to take some time to really put this defense together. I really believe it's going to be a young defense. And that's great. Honestly, I mean, look at Seattle. Again, they have a blend of Leonard Williams and D-Law and those guys, but Tariq Woolen, rookie deal. Kobe Bryant, I believe, rookie deal. A lot of these other guys are still really, really young. Witherspoon, rookie deal. Got to get young. And they already have, again, one of the better defenses in football. If he sticks around in Houston another year or two, he may end up getting a head coaching job because of how great that side of the football is. Honestly. Salute to Ray. All right, let me bring this up. Mock draft simulator. All right, let me share this. Let's have some fun. We'll do one on the way out. Marcus, we've done a ton of free agent shows already, but we're going to do a lot more these next few weeks. Once Kubiak's officially locked and loaded, we'll get to it. I really want to get to those, to more of the free agency talk when we figure out who our assistant coaches or our coordinators are going to be. Once we lock in our defensive coordinator, we lock in, all the assistants and stuff, we'll really get to it, because then we can have a better idea of, what direction we're going to go in there in free agency. So stay tuned. We'll go 7. We'll go fast. Again, this is just with Clint Kubiak in the build. I do not know who the DC is going to be, you guys. We don't know who these, the assistants are going to be at this point. We're just going to have some fun with the quick draft. I don't know why. Close this. All right, we're not playing around at all. Got our guy. Man, no. Gonna reject those. Reject that. All right. This is interesting because I believe that Emmanuel McNeil Warren could be the next big thing at the safety position. This could be another potential Nick Amonwari type situation. This kid is a stud. Like, this can be that guy, that anchor at the back end of the defense, man. Like, honestly, I really believe, you guys, he could be that next dude. I don't want to hear the Toledo talk anymore. We've seen what happened with the other Toledo product that came in with Philadelphia and looks really, really good. I'm probably going to go that route. I know some people may look at the offensive line. Monroe's there. Max is there. He's tough. And Mark, I hear you. I understand you. But I may have to go ahead and go get my next anchor there at the back end of that defense. I like AJ as well. But I'm going to go ahead, and D'Angelo Pons is there also. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go get my guy. He is a player that is rising up my draft boards a lot more. Hot take, he may be a guy that goes in the back end of the first round. Just throwing that out there. No, it's 83, 119, huh? No, we need talent. We need talent. We need whatever. We need guys that can come in and be that guy off the rip. See, Dunker is here, you guys. Dunker is here. Golday is there as well. That's another guy that we said would be a third-round guy right there. Dunker, man, is interesting. 6'5", a guy that he's a dog, man. He's a dog. And again, he could be a tackle. He could be a guard. You know what I mean? Like, you could look at him however you look at him. You know, I have him potentially as a guard at the next level, and I think he could be one of the better guards in football. Some people may disagree with me here. You can go get a linebacker. I'm getting Dunker. I'm getting Dunker there. It is what it is. Gonna reject this. All right. Now, this is the fun round here, you guys. We can have some fun here and get some of the best, we can go defense here, and Mike Washington's still there, man. He's about to be gone, though. But I'm going to go ahead and get I might take York here, or I may go take the big body Lander Barton out of Utah, 6'4". Oh, man. Let me see who's still available. Bud Clark is there, but we already got a safety. He's going to be a beast. Harold Perkins is still there. I'm going to look at him here in a second. He should still be there. You know what? I'm not fucking around. I'm going to go get Harold Perkins right here. All right. Barton's still there. I'm going to go look at edge. Getting Derek Moore. So I may disagree with that. It is what it is. All right, so we got an edge. We got a linebacker. I'm going to give my guy some familiarity here. You guys may disagree with it, but I may take Kalon Black here. I may take Kalon Black here. We look at wide receivers. Ooh, Aiden Fisher's still there. We can double up here, a linebacker. Damani's right there too. We need a corner. I'm not going to play around. Give me Damani. All right. Ooh, Red Murdoch's there still. We can go get another. We can go get another linebacker here. Need a receiver. Need a receiver. Damn, Caden Curry is still available. I may double up here at edge, y'all. You guys may disagree with me here, but it is what it is. All right, now I can look at Cyrus Allen. Let me see. I may take CJ Daniels here. Let me get a wide receiver. All right, now what I'm going to do here is I didn't get a defensive tackle yet, you guys. I know you guys are going to beat me up about that. I may go that route. I like CJ Donaldson. He looked really good at the Shrine. They fed him a ton. Mario, no. Noah Whittington, no. Let me see. Le'Veon Moss, interesting. Let me see how many picks I have left. I got 2 picks left. You know what? I'm going to go defense here. I'm going to go get Nick Barrett there, defensive tackle. And then I'm going to go get my running back. Ooh, Jamal Haynes is there too. I'm going to get Jaden Knott. I know he's dealt with some injuries and shit. Dean Connor's there too. That's what I'm going to go. Right there. What do you guys think about this right here? Fernando Mendoza. You know what that is. Emmanuel McNeil Warren. The next Nick Amanwari. Why not? Throwing it into the universe there. Big 6'3", 6'4", talent out of Toledo. Dunker, Iowa, which I'm going to push him into guard. Harold Perkins Jr., phenomenal upside here. Can play on and off the ball at the linebacker position. Derek Moore, pass rusher, Michigan. Seen him at the Senior Bowl. He was balling. Damani Jackson, corner, Alabama. Love it. Caden Curry, they're the edge out of Ohio State. Doubled up at the edge spot. CJ Daniels, 6'2" wide receiver out of Miami. Nick Barrett, defensive tackle. Added another South Carolina talent, him and Tonka Hemingway. And then Jay Knott there at 219, at the end. And I think Jay Knott, hold on real quick. I think he played with, hold on. I believe he played, he's from Cali. I believe he played with Fernando Mendoza at Cal. Yeah, he played there from 2022 to 2024. So he played, there's some familiarity there, you guys, as well, with Jay Knott there, the last pick in the draft. So you get Fernando Mendoza. He doesn't get Hemby, he doesn't get Black, but he gets Jay Knott, former Cal teammate, right there, the last pick of the draft. I think this is great. I think we pretty much tackled every position. I know the wide receiver, I like CJ Daniels. He may not be that guy, but we can go get another one in the draft, in free agency. I think this is the way to go about it right here. You built up the defense. You got a safety and Emmanuel who can be a stud. You got Harold Perkins. You got Derek Moore, Damani, Caden Curry, man, and Nick Barrett there. And I don't know if Derek Moore is going to be there. He may, he built his draft stock up a lot there at the Senior Bowl. But I'm going off of what was there. And Bodega, R. Mason wasn't there at 36. He wasn't there, brother. So I think that's great. Let me know in the comment section. What do you guys rate this? As my brother L Fingers calls me right now. We're working on something. You know what? I'm gonna hold on real quick. Okay, he's not answering right now. Just know, new Raider anthem on the way, y'all. New Raider anthem on the way. It's going to be dope. Expect it to drop the moment we pick a number one. That's all I'm going to say. Instant premiere. Expect it to drop right after we draft our guy at number one. That's all I'm going to throw out there. So, just Raiders based a solid draft, bro. I think that we kind of hit on all cylinders here, man. Again, I think we attacked pretty much every weakness that we had on this roster. Could we have gotten another linebacker? Yeah, but there'll be some UDFAs available also in free agency. Remember Devin Lloyd and Nakobe Dean and some of these guys. So there's gonna be more talent out there. Even again, there's gonna be some guys that fall completely out of the draft that we can bring in to help propel this thing to the next level. So yeah. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. But other than that, you guys, love as always. I appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll be live all week long. Stu hit me up yesterday. He wants to do a show. So expect the Graphk and Stu show coming. Expect the Graphk and Wasted and the Graphk show this week as well. Hammer hit me up. He wants to get back to our weekly show also. So stay tuned for that. But man, other than that, you guys, as always, man, love and appreciate every single one of you. Wipe them feet on the way out. Hit that subscribe button. New intro on the way. New intro on the way. No longer 2025. No more Pete Carroll. No more Geno Smith on the intro. A new intro is on the way. Also, new Raider anthem on the way. We have a lot on the way, on the horizon. So stay tuned. Other than that, man, as always, love out.